Hello everybody. Cords. To answer Lethal Hammer's latest video, I keep my cell phone in the center console because I don't want to see it. Yes, that is a Corvette Stingray. Alright, let's continue on. Oh, sport mode. It has been raining like crazy. Snow and ice mode is really, really nice. It allows me to still drive the car very, very normally. I'm still getting the RPMs up and the car just feels so good. You don't get all the exhaust noise, and it does soften the suspension a bit and do that, but it is what it is. It's actually just really nice that I can go out and have fun. I put it in sport mode or tour mode, and it breaks loose quite often. So it's nice to see a feature that is supposed to be a lot different be a lot different. So today's topic, you hear that? You didn't hear the gear change. It was still fast, but you don't hear it. I did not spin a tire once, all the way up to 90 kilometers an hour, and it is definitely raining out. So today's topic is magnetic ride control. I had someone ask me in the comments recently about it, and I gave him this huge paragraph about it and all that. And I find it very time consuming writing all of this out all the time. So magnetic ride control is kind of an interesting fickle beast. I don't know how to show you the difference. All I can do is explain it. And basically, the car in touring mode, in my opinion, and please note everybody will argue this, in my opinion, in tour mode and snow and ice mode, it drives very, very similar to most other common cars, like a newer Buick Regal or something. Like, they don't drive boaty anymore. They all drive with a certain amount of poise and handle really well. And this drives pretty similar, but it still doesn't lean in corners. It'll slouch a little bit in the back, but nothing too over the top, and it will dive a little bit under braking. And then in sport mode, I would say it feels 30 to 40% stiffer. The big thing I've been impressed with is that the car can stiffen itself up like that, which is not overly shocking, but I can go hit a set of train tracks at a pretty substantial speed. And in my previous vehicle, a 2006 GMC Envoy, which was pretty floaty boaty, I mean, I got bucked around. And this car actually handles it a lot better, and I feel a lot less of it. On the Harley, I mean, it'll almost break my back. I have to actually stand up to go over this train tracks at the posted speed limit. And in this car, just like nothing. It just goes over, it absorbs and dampens and does everything it needs to do. But then it doesn't lean, it doesn't slouch, it doesn't dive under braking, it doesn't do absolutely anything. And from what I've gathered, because I haven't spent a lot of time driving a car without magnetic ride, and I can't say I would notice a lot of difference. This car I've got about 2,400 kilometers on this car. I can say the first 1,000 kilometers, I didn't notice much of a difference between touring, sport, and track. It all kind of felt the same to me. It all felt stiff. I didn't feel the bumps, and I didn't feel a lot of the different things, but I didn't notice the stiffness difference either. Whereas now that I've got, more like 2,300 kilometers on, and I've put that much more time in the seat and taken that many more corners, I definitely noticed the difference. I can feel the car stiffen up, and I can feel the 3% less lean in the corners and the subtle variances that it does. But under every mode, it is still very nice when you hit bumps. Like right now, I'm hitting some substantial bumps, and I can't say I really feel it. I am in snow and ice mode, and it feels pretty pretty cushy, I guess, but still sporty. If I have to make a maneuver, the car never hesitates and never underperforms under any mode. So the magnetic ride control, which is a rather premium option, and it was not on my list of things I wanted on my car. I've driven the new C7 Corvette. I've spent a lot of time in the new C7 Corvette without magnetic ride control, and I absolutely love how that car feels. It handles, it performs, it's a great car. But you can take it in a construction zone and you're hitting potholes, and that car is really, really nice. So when I was shopping for this car, it was basically, don't need magnetic ride control. It'll have the same suspension setup as the C7 Stingray base model, and that's what I want. It's outstanding, it's amazing, etc., etc. And then when I started shopping for the car, because I was buying the year-end 2016, right as the model year was switching over to 2017, and they already had 2017 models on the showroom floor, it was kind of, you're going to get what you're going to get. You're going to save money on it, but the car is going to have more features and be more expensive. So it was kind of, what's the less of two evils? And then this car came up, which had like everything. It had the magnetic ride, it had the nav, it had the sunroof, it has the MPP exhaust, which was the only feature I did have to have. And I can honestly say that I would not change this car. I would not want it to handle, perform, or from a suspension perspective, I wouldn't change anything. I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible how adaptive it actually is. I drove a 2010 Cadillac CTS-V for a while. It wasn't my car, it was my dad's car, and he lost it in a flash flood. He got the water up to the windows, but he had that car for 4 years from brand new, and I drove around in it quite often from the cottage, and you know, that's a 3-hour track coming back, and it was rough. Like, it went from stiff to break your back, and he would never put it in sport mode. It was always in touring mode, and even then it was just still just too much. And when you would hit a set of train tracks, or you would hit a set of bumps, so you'd go in and out of a driveway, it was rough. Like, it, what the fuck? Retard. My bad. That was one of those dude jutting out on me. He can bite me. Anyways, back to the video. So the magnetic ride was good. It was sporty. The car handled well. You could take corners at really high speed, but it didn't have the give when you wanted, when you needed, and when you would have liked it. Whereas I feel like this, which I believe is the 3rd generation magnetic ride, because they've been running them on the vet since 2002, give or take. I don't know. Someone in the comments, please correct if I'm wrong, but it's been a while. I do recall watching car review shows on the Corvette, and it came, like, the high-end models came with this new type of suspension that would adapt to the road and do all this, that, and the other, and it was magnetic ride. And then it got adapted into the CTS-V in 2009. My dad had the 2010, had it until 2014. He got the Stingray, and I was just so impressed with how good the Stingray was that it was like, honestly, I'm not going to take the CTS-V ride over the Corvette Stingray. I want the Stingray. I do not want to have any compromises. The car will handle and perform great, and I have absolutely no doubt that this car, without magnetic ride, rides and performs excellent. I have zero doubt in my mind. But I have seen a lot of complaints on it being too stiff, and these are the set of train tracks right here. So that, like, I didn't just like, but that on the bike is like, oh my god. So that on sport mode is a bit more, I would say probably 10% more of a clunk when you hit, but it's nothing. Like, the car is just, and I know I just keep saying how good it is, but oh, but it is that good. What is with everybody pulling out in front of me today? God damn it. I honestly cannot handle it. And as you've seen back there, it is raining out. The roads are very, very wet. And that car pulled out in front of me, and when I hit the brakes and turned the wheel, this car just performed absolutely flawlessly. It never skidded, it never slid, it doesn't hydroplane with these tires, the suspension. Like, the car does nothing. It just does exactly what you tell it to do and nothing more, which is just incredible. Like, this car is just that good. So I'm gonna try to come up with some ways to express to you or show you how good it is, but I don't know. The car doesn't lean, so I can't put it in tour mode and show me going around a corner. Look, tire touches the wheel well. Go around in sport mode. Look, car doesn't move. It's just good all the time in every mode. But then it has a little more give in touring and a little bit less in sport. So I don't know. It's too good for its own good, I guess. Now, one other thing I should probably mention, because there is a difference in the modes. You can unselect the mode from the driving mode. If you do not like one feature of the mode you've selected in regards to steering, exhaust, or suspension, you can change it in your settings under, what is it under? Let's see if I can pull it up here. Driving mode, engine sound management, steering, and suspension. So if I click suspension, it is auto mode selector. So as I change the modes, it changes it. But if you don't like it, if you want touring mode, snow and ice mode, whoa, I think I was in my lane completely. If you want one specific mode all the time and you don't want to have to change the mode because you want the exhaust sound and you want the lighting to change, you've got that set up, but you want it just tour mode, you can set that up as well. And you can do that with the steering, because the steering gets really, really tight in track mode. And I understand why people would not like it. It is difficult to drive with one hand, but it is, in my opinion, it's amazing. Like, the steering, like right now it feels heavy. I don't know how to describe it. It's very similar to my old Envoy, but it had a weird steering feel as well. Most steering is weightless and you just take it and you just throw the wheel. This is, ooh, there's a branch down. Getting away from that bad boy. But this is not that. It always has weight to it, but then when you put it into track mode, it gets quite heavy. And I'm a fairly strong guy, and when I'm performing, you know, more risky maneuvers, or I'm actually driving and I'm into the car, I mean, I am pretty tensed up and I'm really focused, and it's really nice to have that weighty feel. I like it. I think it's amazing. But if I was driving a stick and had to do the one-hand business, I could see that being a massive disadvantage. I will put it in track mode most of the time when I'm on the highway, just because it's so tight. You just sit there, take your hands off, and you just kind of like just occasionally correct it, and it just, oh, it's so good. It's amazing. I don't know how to describe it. Most of this car, and the magnetic ride included, and a part of the issue I have with the videos that I've watched and me buying this car, I took this car, not this specific one, but a 2SS for a 3-hour test drive, and I put almost 200 kilometers on the car, 120 miles for you Americans, and I mean, I was just totally speechless at how much different the car was than I had anticipated. And that was 3 hours of playing with it. Nobody gets a 3-hour test drive. I didn't tell them I was taking a 3-hour test drive. The salesman didn't go with me, and I really wanted to understand the car. I'm not going to spend this kind of money and not. I never took it out of sport mode. I never played with any of the buttons, the settings. I never did absolutely anything. I just drove the car around and took my girlfriend around and stuff and tried the car out, and it was amazing. Got this car, first 1,000 kilometers, I thought I was getting a handle of the car and I was starting to understand it. And then I started putting it into manual mode and doing all this other stuff and changing to track mode and feeling out the suspension and doing all that. It's just, oh, buddy in his Silverado showing off to the guy in the Camaro. they're huge sound difference, night and day. Anyway, so that's my review on the Magnetic Ride. I mean, it's really up to you guys. If you can't swing the money, I wouldn't dwell on it. I wouldn't say like, oh, well, you just got a super inferior car, or, you know, the only Camaro to own is the one with the magnetic ride control. I don't feel like that is the case with this car. I think either car is fantastic, but with the way this car handles and performs, I just think it's the do-all to end-all if you can find a car that has it and swing the money. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think below. I know my videos have been getting kind of long lately, and I apologize if you're not into that. If you are enjoying the content, excellent. I do appreciate that as well. But I'm trying my best to purvey less of a biased opinion. This car is so good that it's hard to sit there and tell you guys, you know, oh, it doesn't do this, or it's like, to be honest, I don't care. Everything it does so well that what it doesn't, I haven't even found yet. So, anyways, guys, enjoy the weather. Winter's coming. There's gonna be some pretty cool videos on that. The snow and ice mode. Oh yeah, she'll be out in a blizzard with snow tires on, and I'll let you guys know how she does. I was extremely concerned about it, but not anymore, to be honest. I think the traction control system is so good that I don't have one concern about how this car will do for me for what I need. So take care, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and drive safe. Avoid all these crazy wackos on their drive home from their work. Peace out.